Hello and welcome to Adobe Premiere Pro and how to set up a file. That's what we're going to show you how to do, is set up a project file for video editing in Adobe Premiere Pro. This is a scary and daunting task at first if you have never used a program of this kind of caliber or professional level before, but I guarantee you that you can learn this and you will feel comfortable with this soon enough. But the first thing to understand is how projects work in this type of environment. You see, if you're in Word or Google Docs and you're perhaps maybe even collaborating with a friend on a school report, and you're all typing away, and you start the file, and now your friend texts you and says, "Hey, can you share that file with me?" Gotcha. We'll send it right now. And you send off that file, maybe in Microsoft Word, or you share it in Google Docs, and there's no problems. People can open that up generally with any computer, any device, and they're not going to have any issues doing that. However, that is not true in video editing. And so in video editing, organization is key to success because there's so many different files that you're working with, and you can't really share your project easily with another computer unless you know how, and that's a whole other step. So we want to make sure that you're set up for success, and so let's hop in. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is be able to load up Premiere Pro. And so if you go down to the dock, there's all these different icons perhaps, but on the bottom left, Finder is always there on the bottom left. You're going to click on there, and if you go on the left hand side here, there's one that says Applications. So I'm going to click on Application, and now I have to just scroll until I find Adobe Premiere Pro. Double click on that. And then there's a Adobe Premiere Pro that I'm going to double click to open up that file. It'll do a little bit of a launch here. And now it's going to say, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to open up an old project that you've been working on already, or create a new one? So that's where we're going to create this new project over here. It's a blue pill over there. And on the project name, that's where we're going to type in the name of our project. My Amazing Film, whatever you want to call it. You can tell it to save in a specific location on a computer. That's up to you. It'll save it in the documents in a few different folders deep, but that's okay. We can always find it. And then the next thing is to be able to basically import footage. And that's where you're going to have to find your footage over here. Let me just hide this window for a second. When you are importing files, it's best to have everything in one folder so that you always know where your photos, your video clips, your music and sound effects files are for your project. So if you're on the main screen, not in Premiere Pro, but just on the Mac, you can right click anywhere on that screen and say new folder. And you're going to call this folder, again, my video files, whatever you want to call it, that you'll remember it belongs to that movie. And then I'm going to put in a file that I want to import. So now if I go back to Premiere Pro, when I'm over here, I've already named my file up on the top left here. And I'm going to go to my desktop because that's where my folder is. And there's my folder that I created, and I'm going to check off the file that I want to include. Over here on the right hand side, there's a create new sequence. I would suggest that you turn off that blue button, because that'll create some problems for you in the future, because every time you import a new file, it's going to create like a new project, and you don't really want that. You just want it to add it and continue working on what you're working on. So once I have all my files selected that I want to import, I say create. It's going to create a file that I can work with. And my first suggestion is to edit using a specific layout. So again, there's all these buttons over here, and what are you going to do with them? So over on the top right here, there's a workspace button that has a little blue dot on it. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go over to editing, because that will set it up in a way that I find easiest to show students how to use. That's how you set up your file. And how to edit, well, that's in another file, another tutorial, or that's going to be taught live in class. Thanks a lot.